Good morning and welcome. You're with us on Market Opening on the Business Today show. Let's take you through all the top news this morning as we head into the first few minutes of trade. Silver steadies on COMEX after the biggest one-day fall in more than 5 years. Holds above $72, down from over $82 yesterday. Gold also steady after its biggest drop in 2 months. Platinum and palladium see a small rise after plunging yesterday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to meet economists and sectoral experts at the NITI Aayog today. The meeting will discuss the upcoming budget, economic reforms and other challenges. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman to also participate in this pre-budget consultation. The meeting comes even as the industrial output in November grows at its fastest pace in 25 months. The index of industrial production jumped 6.7%, boosted by a spike in manufacturing and a pickup in consumer goods. 3 of the 6 categories, including infra and construction, clocked double-digit growth. Weeks after the biggest disruptions ever in its services, IndiGo extends an olive branch to pilots, introduces new allowances and raises some existing ones. The move comes even as the airline loses 200 basis points market share in November and rating agencies warn of significant financial damage. US stocks end in the red. Tech sector struggles with back-to-back losses on the S&P 500. Asia Pacific mostly also losing this morning, and GIFT Nifty showing a flat to negative start for Indian markets ahead of year-end. All right, let's take a look at the overnight action as we count down to opening trade in just a few minutes now. Remember, we're in the last week, last few days of the year, and precious metals extremely volatile. Tech also playing spoil sport this morning. S&P 500, Nasdaq, Dow, all in the red. Let's look at the action in Asia this morning as well, and you'll see that trend pretty much continuing. We've also been, of course, seeing the trade deal hanging in the balance, the ongoing talks when it comes to Russia, Ukraine, what it means for oil, and of course, the latest news around RIL as well, which we'll track for you in a moment. Nvidia, Amazon, Tesla, everything in the red last night. And when it comes to gold and silver, which have been skyrocketing, we did see some amount of a tumble coming in, even though they're still holding on, of course, to some of those higher levels. Silver at 73 and gold just a touch in the red this morning. The Nifty 50 indicating a flat start so far. We're joined by Shailendra Bhatnagar, Chief Analyst and Editor Markets, as well as Amrish Baliga, expert in the markets this morning. Gentlemen, good to have you with us. Shail, do you want to take a look at the setup first this Tuesday?
A very good morning to you, Aabha. Only 3 people are working in the market. That's Amrish, you and me. There is absolutely no volume anywhere. And people are enjoying Christmas holidays, looking forward to the new year. You have breakdowns, mild breakdowns everywhere. And there is absolutely no volume to speak of. We should have had a day off enjoying the Delhi's winter, but not at all. So metals, PSU banks and energy space looks good. Nifty, Bank Nifty are showing signs of a time correction, and that's how it is, Aabha.
All right. Amrish, good morning. Talking about some shocks to the system, the volatility on precious metals. Amrish is also smiling. He said, I don't know how you got me on Zoom this morning, but this time of year is always a little quiet. Maybe a way to use the time to perhaps rethink, re-strategize ahead of the new year. Right, Amrish?
Absolutely, Aabha. And see, I'm contrarian at heart. Whenever I choose a stock, it's a contrarian buy normally. So even from a vacation point of view, I'm a contrarian. But when I go for a vacation, I work. And when, most of the spots are empty, people are busy with their work, that's the time I take a vacation.
It's a great idea. It's a great idea.
Yeah, but like, if we just repeat the question again.
So, let's talk about precious metals first, because that's where all the action is. Not only did we see those record highs on silver, now we're seeing a bit of a tumble across both silver and gold just in the last few days of the year.
Yeah, see, precious metals, this sort of a rally is rarely seen. And whenever we see this sort of a rally, normally there's a decent crack post the rally. I mean, especially silver. I mean, we have seen such rallies, if you're talking of the last 30, 40 years, we have seen this sort of a rally twice. And both the times, we have seen a very decent crack. I think in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s, we have seen a crack of about 90% after a huge rally. A bit later than that, I think we have seen a 75% crack after a huge rally. So it is quite natural that anything which goes up like this, irrespective of the industrial demand, which possibly has risen because of EVs and I mean all the electronic components which require silver, but still, it's difficult to digest a 180% sort of a rally in like just a very short time. I mean, if you're talking of a year, it's a very short time when you're talking of precious metals. I mean, this sort of a rally is difficult to digest. So when the rally is there, utilize it. I mean, especially for traders. But then at some point of time, I think you need to keep your greed behind and look at booking profits. And possibly this could be a time to book profits, despite, I mean, we have seen a decent fall. I think it's close to a 10% sort of a fall which we have seen in a day. But utilize this sort of a move to book some profits.
Okay, that's where we have gold and silver right now at this point of time. Just taking a live check for you and on your screens, 1,35,000 on MCX gold and 2,32,000 on MCX silver. Look at the kind of gains that we're continuing to see across both those precious metals. I also want to talk about Reliance this morning, Amrish, because they've come out with a clarification on that $30 billion claim, saying that that it's actually inappropriate and irresponsible, and that the actual amount of the claim, I'm just trying to pull up the exact number, is $247 million. So saying that the matter is sub judice, disputes report that has been filed on the gas field compensation demand coming in from the government, from Reliance and BP, saying that it's completely inappropriate and irresponsible. Just want to get a quick view on Reliance from you in light of this news.
Well, see, this was a huge controversy, I think about 12 to 15 years back, and then somehow it died down. And now it has come up again, and I think the claim is huge. And since it's from the government, I think the issue will continue for much longer, irrespective of whatever clarification Reliance has given. I think this will be an overhang for the stock, at least for a while.
Okay, so continued overhang expected there on RIL. We're just counting down to opening. Keep an eye on RIL. Keep an eye on Titan, and we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. Keep an eye on some of those textile counters and trade-related counters as well. Continued focus there. IT will take a stock and see if it's reacting in line with the global trend. And opening ticks for you on your screen there. Just a marginal downtake. We've been struggling around that 26,000 mark and continuing to really hover there. 25,908 is where we're at on the Nifty this morning. Pull up the Nifty Bank for you, just a marginal downtick coming in there as well. And let's pull up some of the other gainers and losers for you. IT also seeing a marginal red downtick on the back of overnight action. Metals not participating today, so no clear signal coming in from there either. On the top of the charts, Shriram Finance continuing its gains. Hindalco looking decent, continuing there as well. BEL up about 0.5%, continued order wins. Sun Pharma, Tata Consumer, Nestle pulling up the rest of that list. So interesting to see some of those consumer staples there. But a whole lot of names on the downside: Auto, Metals, L&T, Aisha, Zomato, or Eternal. We've got a whole host of names that are actually seeing a little bit of a pressure today, down about 1% or so. Profit booking is really what it looks like, if you ask me. Correction, just chopping off a little bit of the build-up on the top at this point of time. Shell, opening ticks?
Well, Aabha, people are on a holiday. It's visible on the screen. The advanced decline is flat, 1:1. 800 stocks have traded in the green, 800 in the red, so nothing happening there. All 19 indices are in the red, so mild profit booking happening across the board, and this is symptomatic of a time correction that is taking place in the markets. Today is also the monthly expiry of the Nifty, so you would expect some kind of...
Okay. We'll come back to Shell in a moment, but also I think the excitement continues on the precious metals and the bull run that we've seen there. Let's pull up the screens for you and continuing to see gains coming in. MCX silver soaring by 9,000 rupees now, hitting 2.3 lakhs. That's the big number for you on your screen. And MCX gold rising 900 rupees, reaching 1.36 lakhs. So despite the recent volatility, we're continuing to see gains on the precious metals and continuing to top those extremely overstretched levels now on the precious metals. 2.3 lakhs for MCX silver and 1.3 for gold. Continued gains this morning. Amrish, I also want to take a look at Titan, and that's also clearly one to benefit from the gold play. A lot of news coming in on that one. We've got some overweight calls as well. They've launched a Tanishq Diamond Expertise Center, first store in Bombay. Gradual launch now across the store network of this initiative. So that's the news really. But Titan has been trending at record levels, continued strength there. What's your view on Titan?
See, the new vertical, they're talking about the artificial diamonds. I think, most of the millennials look at artificial diamonds as compared to the natural diamonds. So I think this is the right move which Titan has made. And at the same time, as far as their eyewear business is concerned, I think that will also get better valuations because thanks to Lenskart, the sort of valuations they've got. And the third thing clearly is on gold. Because most of these companies would be, seeing sort of a better valuation, basically because of the valuation of the inventory which they have. Normally, most of them have decent amount of inventory. So the inventory, the price has moved up, and I think that should show on the balance sheet. But at the same time, because of the sort of a run which we have seen in bullion, we could see that their volumes would come down because clearly at these levels, it becomes unaffordable for a lot of people. So unless it's a must, like for example, if it's a wedding or something else, otherwise people have slowed down as far as buying is concerned, as far as jewelries are concerned. So I think Titan overall is positive, no doubt. But then I don't see a huge run up from here because we've already seen a decent sort of a move.
All right. Some amount of attention also shifting to some of the, let's say, textile counters, for example, on macro developments such as tariff normalization, progress of FTAs, for instance, looking into falling US imports in the near term, as perhaps cyclical. So we have names like Indocount, Wellspun that are in focus. And of course, the entire sector will be watching out for what comes out in the new year. Would you be also tracking the developments here, Amrish, or just staying away altogether in light of the continued uncertainty?
No, we are still hopeful that we'll have the US-India trade treaty because it was supposed to come in November. Then we said December, it's still not come. And now people are talking about possibly end of February, early March. So we are still hopeful. And the sectors which were badly affected because of the tariffs, I think would be the ones which will gain the most once the deal is through. And one of those major major sectors clearly is textiles, which really got hit badly. So that should be one which should be looked at least for 2026, because I'm still hopeful that this deal should go through.
All right, so still positive there. All right, the Prime Minister is going to be holding a crucial meeting with top economists and experts at NITI Aayog today. The meeting is part of the government's pre-budget consultation exercise ahead of the budget in February. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will also be present, and the discussions are expected to center on growth, reforms, and India's macroeconomic outlook. The Prime Minister is likely to listen to suggestions, including ideas to bolster growth, fiscal management, and long-term development priorities. This high-level interaction is part of the government's regular strategy to gather broad-based inputs before finalizing key economic policy decisions. Let's go across to Surbhi on this for more. Surbhi, just counting down to, I think, 2 months to budget now, or 1 month actually. Give us a sense of really what will be prioritized with regards to the agenda. I know a lot of consultations and reviews are going to take place at NITI Aayog, as part of this meeting. But any indication you have of what could be the key priority areas this time around?
Yes, so the budget is just 1 month away now on February 1. And while most of the tax-related issues have already been sorted out by the government, including income tax and GST, the focus we expect is going to be more on ease of doing business, deregulation, and building domestic capacities and resilience, or Atmanirbharta, as the government likes to call it. Because while this year we've had a kind of a Goldilocks moment with, growth being higher than anticipated and inflation being low, there's still concerns about what happens next fiscal, because external
Sure.
challenges are going to continue, and whether it's, China related export import issues, or US tariffs, where we are still not clear what is happening. So there is a clear need to build up on the economy, and that's what the Prime Minister is likely going to discuss with economists today.
All right, great. We'll keep track of that, Surbi, and come back to you for more on that as the day progresses. Let's take a look at some of those gainers in opening trade. We've got Lloyd's Engineering moving on the account of an approval of a merger of Lloyd's Infra, Metal Fab, and Techno Industries with the company. So that's on Lloyd's Engineering. We've also got Hind Copper moving, and I think that's also up about 3% today. So quick check on that one as well. Continued action, of course, building across some of these metal counters. And I just want to take a look at some of the macro data coming in, since we're now tracking budget expectations. And the latest figures, Amrish, have been really positive in terms of the kind of production and expansion we're seeing across macro data coming in just yesterday. I want to get your view on that. Is this really like a good sign in terms of structurally what we might also see and kind of lead to a breakout or untapped potential across, that part of the market in the new year?
Absolutely. And see, we are seeing these macros despite the sort of US tariffs, which we have now seen for more than 6 months now. So I think this is extremely positive. And I would say, whatever happened on the US tariffs clearly is a blessing in disguise, because India clearly was quite comfortable with the sort of US exports, which we have seen in the last so many years increasing. But then this came as a jolt, no doubt. And then like in the last 6 months, we have seen that most of the exporters are looking at other geographies to export. And I think that's a very positive development. So, like we are discussing about the India-US treaty, if that happens, that clearly will be a bonus, no doubt, and that will be a major booster. At the same time, the sort of macros which we are seeing clearly points to the fact that India will continue to grow, and it will be one of those few economies which will grow at that 7.5–8%. Also, if you're talking of the Q3 numbers, I expect them to be as good or better than Q2, because most of the GST's benefits will trickle down in the Q3 numbers. So I think there are a decent number of triggers lined up for the markets, including the budget now. We normally have some sort of a pre-budget rally based on expectations. So overall, at least in the first quarter of 2026, I'm decently positive on the market. Because if you see the whole of 2025, although the Nifty has gone up 10%, most of the portfolios are bleeding, because most of them have, most of the individual portfolios, I would say, are bleeding because most of them have those small and mid caps. I think that's where we'll see the action in the first quarter of 2026.
All right, so a lot of scope for action there, and the broader markets is really the view coming in from Amrish. Remember, industrial production's at a 2-year high, recording a 6.7% growth in November, fueled by mining and manufacturing. That's where the gains have been coming in from. Amrish, when you're talking about the broader markets, then any specific picks or any specific themes that we should be keeping our eye on?
A couple of themes I'm still looking at is the infra play. And in infra play, I would clearly look at some of the cement stocks, although there will be a sort of a major merger as far as ACC and Abuja is concerned. I think the action would be in some of the smaller cement players, which possibly are those targets for the larger players to buy out. And one of them would be Nuvoco Vistas, which is a Nirma Group company, the fifth largest cement company, increasing the capacity from 25 million tons to 35 million tons over the next 2 years. So this is one stock which has corrected decently well in the last 6 months. I think we could see a decent move to levels of about 480 or so. So this clearly is one of those stocks which I've been recommending. And again, I'm still positive on the specialty chemicals play. So, there we have picks like Deepak Nitrite, where I have an initial target of about closer to 2,000, a long-term target of about 2,300, 400.
All right, Amrish, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Always great to get your views and also those specific picks. Have a great holiday week. And we take a break at this point of time. Do stay tuned. Lots more news and updates coming up. And we'll be back for market closing at 3 p.m.